Hello, everyone. This is Sean Smith coming back at you from the Smith Law Firm. I wanted to jump on here real quick and talk about a case that I profiled last fall, a Fourth Amendment case. I believe it was Lange versus California. The Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court, just came down with a ruling today. And basically what the ruling stood for was that when a police officer are pursuing someone for a misdemeanor, that pursuit doesn't necessarily or automatically create the kind of emergency that would allow the officer to come into your home without a warrant. The facts of this case were kind of peculiar. A driver was driving through town. According to the officer, he was playing his music very loudly, so the officer decided to follow him, followed him all the way home. The guy pulled into his driveway and ultimately went to his garage, and that's when the officer followed him to the garage and wouldn't let him close his garage door. Ultimately, the officer arrested the drivers for OWI or DUI in California. Supreme Court said, hey, look, there are some exceptions to the warrant requirement, and pursuit is one of those exceptions. However, when you're pursuing someone for a misdemeanor, it doesn't automatically mean that you can forego the warrant requirement. It depends on the facts of each case, meaning if it's a felony, well, you probably can forego the warrant requirement when there's pursuit. But if it's a misdemeanor and you have time to get a warrant, Supreme Court says get a warrant. Justice Kagan wrote this opinion. It was a 9-0 ruling. However, I believe Justice Roberts and Alito had different rationale for sending it back to the California State Court. But nonetheless, I think Justice Kagan was correct in her analysis. You need to look at these cases on a case-by-case basis. You have to look at the facts of each case. Again, and I say this to my students all the time, your home is considered what we call the castle doctrine, meaning you have the most amount of privacy in your home. And government officials can't abridge that under the guise of pursuit all the time. It has to be a real emergency. And just because they're pursuing you for a misdemeanor doesn't necessarily rise to the level of emergency that would allow the officer to forego obtaining a warrant. I always used to tell my officers when I used to be a prosecutor that, hey, when in doubt, if it's not necessarily an emergency, get a warrant, because then you have a neutral person reviewing your probable cause. Here, I think the court got it right. So we'll see you next time.